Superman finally speaks, and Earth may never recover. A hidden truth about the origin of metahumans shakes the Avengers Council. Iron Man must decide: protect humanity or uphold a dark galactic pact. With Hulk caught in the middle and Thor ready to strike, the heroes fracture. In the ashes of trust, the real enemy steps forward. And it was one of them all along. The sky cracked when he spoke. The helicarrier trembled. Above the clouds, in a space untouched by civilians, Earth's greatest heroes sat around a floating conference table. The Avengers Council. Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange. And in the center, Superman, arms folded, face unreadable. The council had never invited him formally. He didn't work under S.H.I.E.L.D. jurisdiction. But tonight was different. A Kryptonian satellite had intercepted a cosmic signal, pulsing from within the Earth's core. It was alien but familiar. Not from Superman's galaxy, something older, darker, buried before Earth was named. Tony Stark adjusted the collar of his nanotech suit. "So you called us here for a mystery beep?" Superman didn't smile. Not a beep. A countdown. Silence. Doctor Strange leaned forward, the eye of Agamotto glowing faintly. "What are you not telling us?" Superman sighed. "This signal, it's not just a warning. It's an activation code." "Activation for what?" growled Hulk, arms crossed, suspicious. Superman looked at each of them, his gaze pausing on Iron Man, then Thor. "I wasn't sent to Earth by accident," he said slowly. "I was placed here, as a sleeper safeguard, for something buried at Earth's center. Something the Kryptonians feared. Something we helped lock away, with a lie." The room went cold. Tony's HUD scanned Superman's vitals. Elevated, but stable. He wasn't lying. "Wait, what lie?" Black Panther said, voice sharp. "You fought beside us. Died beside us. Are you saying you've been protecting something dangerous this whole time?" "I didn't know." "Not fully," Superman said. "Until last week." A hologram burst open over the table, a shimmering image of the Earth's core, pulsating with faint crimson lines. Alien glyphs circled its edges. And then a face emerged, non-human, ancient, with 6 burning eyes. "Meet the Architect," Superman said. "One of the last living weapons from the Dark Genesis War. He's waking up, and I was built, modified, to contain him if he ever did." Stark stood. "Modified? You're a genetic weapon." Superman nodded. "And you just found this out?" "Last week." Thor's voice was thunderous. "No," Superman said quietly. "I've known for years. But I didn't want to believe it. I've been fighting myself, trying to be more than what I was made to be. But the Architect is moving. The countdown ends in 48 hours. And I need your help." "You need us to stop it?" Captain Marvel asked, eyes narrowed. Superman shook his head. "I need you to help me kill me, before he uses me as a key to escape." Gasps echoed. Even Hulk flinched. "Okay," Stark said, standing now, the edge in his voice unmistakable. "So let me get this straight. You've known for years that you're some ticking biological failsafe, and you didn't tell us? You've been attending birthday parties, fighting wars, posing for press photos, while hiding a cosmic time bomb in your chest." "I thought I could suppress it," Superman said, his voice pained. "I thought I had a choice. And now that you don't, we have to clean it up?" Iron Man snapped. "Sorry, Clark, but this isn't a confession booth. This is the last line of defense for Earth." Doctor Strange interrupted. "Wait. If you die, is that enough? Or could killing you trigger the release?" Superman hesitated. "I don't know." "Oh, that's great," Stark said sarcastically, turning away. "Anyone else feel like we're in a galactic episode of Jerry Springer?" Hulk slammed a fist on the table, cracking it. "Enough talk. Hulk wants facts. Who built this Architect? Why Earth?" "Because Earth was never supposed to be a thriving world," Superman said. "It was a vault, a prison dimension. My creators, the Kryptonians, and a coalition of ancient species locked the Architect here after the War of Fractured Suns." "What war?" Thor asked, voice tense. Superman looked directly at him. "A war your father fought in. Odin was part of the seal." Thunder rippled above them. Thor stood, hammer vibrating in his hand. You dare invoke his name in this madness? Superman's voice didn't shake. He knew. Asgard knew. That's why they kept Midgard under such close watch for millennia. And you kept a secret? Thor thundered. You let Earth form civilizations, grow innocence, build peace, knowing it was sitting atop a god prison? Yes, Superman said, pain evident. Because I was told I could control it, that I would never activate. But now the countdown runs, Black Panther murmured. Everyone turned to Iron Man. He had always been the strategist, the one who made the impossible decision. Tony, Captain Marvel asked. Iron Man stared at the hologram of Superman, then at Superman himself. You want us to pick a side, Clark? Tony said. Fine. But understand this. His mask slid over his face. If it comes down to Earth or you, I pick Earth. Always. The tension was suffocating. Then a blaring alarm filled the room. Warning. Unauthorized cosmic breach detected in Sector 4. A red portal tore open at the edge of the ship. Alien energy spilled through. Shadowy figures walked out, humanoid, armored, glowing with the same red glyphs that pulsed in Superman's hologram. The lead one raised a staff. Key located, it announced. Engagement protocol initiated. Superman's eyes widened. They're here for me. Iron Man's line in the sand. The moment the red-armored invaders stepped through the portal, the helicarrier erupted into chaos. Defensive protocols, now. Tony shouted, flying into the air as his nanotech armor locked into combat mode. The table shattered behind him from a plasma blast. Superman didn't move. Not yet. The lead invader raised its weapon, a bone-forged staff etched with glowing runes, and pointed it directly at Superman. The key must not resist. Thor hurled Mjolnir before it could finish the sentence. Boom. The invader was blasted backward through the portal, exploding midair. Two more emerged in its place, dragging chains that shimmered with quantum pulses. Dr. Strange opened a rune gate to deflect a second wave of plasma, while Black Panther leapt from the broken conference platform and struck a soldier's faceplate with a kinetic charge. Clark. Tony's voice rang out through the comms. Now would be a good time to prove you're still on our side. Superman's eyes flickered, not red with heat vision, but white with internal resistance. His body shuddered, as if something inside him wanted to act against his will. They're triggering the activation, he groaned, falling to his knees. Captain Marvel flew past him, punching one of the invaders through a wall. Then we end this before you go full doomsday. No, Superman whispered. If I fight them, it might complete the connection. What does that mean? Shouted Hulk, now locked in brutal melee with one of the larger invaders. I'm the biological bridge, Superman choked out. The more I fight them, the faster the architect awakens. Tony hesitated for just a second. The worst second. That's when the ship cracked. The architect spoke. Not in words, but in symbols, vibrations, thoughts that weren't thoughts. The walls twisted. The air turned heavy like molasses. The heroes heard screaming, but not with their ears. It was like time cried out. Get him out. Strange roared, opening a gate to the Arctic vault. Tony shot a repulsor blast into the deck, clearing a path. Thor. Hulk. Move him now. No, Superman stood, trembling. His skin began to pulse with alien glyphs, glowing brighter with each second. If you send me away, I'll lose control faster. He'll break through in isolation. Then what do we do? Panther barked. Superman's eyes met Tony's. We do what we always do, fight smarter. Iron Man narrowed his gaze. Define smartered. We sever the link, not with me, but with them. If the soldiers die before the connection stabilizes, the architect fails to anchor. Thor grinned. Now that's a strategy one can strike with. Hit hard, Tony ordered. No killing Superman, yet. The battlefield roared. Hulk smashed two invaders into each other with a thunderclap. Strange summoned a time loop prison to trap another. Captain Marvel unleashed photon blasts that vaporized the red symbols one by one. Black Panther coordinated energy pulses to disrupt their tech. But more kept coming. Each invader was stronger than the last, faster, more resistant to pain. They didn't speak, they simply targeted Superman with mindless purpose. Superman held back, barely using his strength, gritting his teeth with each impact. He could obliterate them, but that was the trap. "Stark," he shouted, catching a blow from one invader with a vibrating arm. "They're using kinetic memory. Every attack they absorb, they imprint into me." Tony's eyes went wide. "They're building your command key from your own resistance." "Exactly." Suddenly, a different voice joined the battlefield, digitized, mechanical, and ancient. Key nearly synced. Final code pending. Then silence. All the invaders froze mid-fight. Doctor Strange whispered, "They're sinking now." A column of red light shot up from Superman's chest. It wasn't his doing. It was pulling itself from his cells. "No!" Superman screamed. Tony Stark made a decision. One he wouldn't come back from. He overrode every drone in orbit and shouted, "Fragmentation barrage, target Superman." "What?" shouted everyone. Even Superman. Thousands of iron drones fell from orbit like burning stars, each locking onto Superman's chest and detonating in controlled nanite explosions, forcing his body into phase disruption. "Tony, you'll kill him," Captain Marvel cried. "I'd rather do that than let Earth burn," he yelled back. The light faltered. Superman collapsed. The invaders screamed in unison, then disintegrated. Silence returned. Smoke, blood, debris. Tony dropped to one knee, exhausted. And then Superman spoke, barely conscious, eyes flickering. "You crossed the line. Stark." Tony didn't flinch. "And I'd cross it again." Superman passed out. And far below, in the Earth's molten core, a single eye blinked open. The architect was aware. The eye beneath the Earth, deep beneath the Earth's crust, in a chasm untouched by time, the silence of centuries shattered. A single, enormous eye opened. It had no pupil, no color, just a white void that pulsed in slow, ancient rhythm. The architect had awakened. On the surface, inside a fortified bunker built by Wakandan and Stark Tech, Superman floated in a containment field. His body twitched, skin still glowing faintly with alien glyphs. Heartbeat slowed to 4 BPM. Iron Man hovered outside the cell, arms folded. Chala stood beside him. "You nearly killed him," Chala said. "I nearly saved Earth," Tony shot back. Captain Marvel paced nearby, fists clenched. "Tony, this isn't war strategy. This is betrayal. We don't abandon our own." "He's not one of us," Tony said coldly. "He's the fuse to a cosmic bomb. And right now we don't even know if we've stopped the ignition." "I still trust him," said Bruce Banner, his voice tired, human again. "We've fought beside him. He's saved us countless times." "History doesn't erase DNA," Tony snapped. Suddenly, the wall screen buzzed with static, then resolved into a live image of the Earth's core. The eye, watching, recording. Strange appeared, his cloak floating ominously. "I've consulted the Book of Vishanti. This being is older than time itself. It's not just a prisoner, it's a designer of realities. It rewrites physics to survive." "Like a cosmic AI?" Carol asked. "Worse," Strange said. "It teaches other dimensions how to break rules." "And it wants Superman to unlock our world," Chala finished. "No," Bruce said suddenly. "It wants more than that." Everyone turned. Bruce stepped closer to the containment cell. "I think it's using Clark as a test, to see if we'd protect him or destroy him, to see if we'd divide." Tony frowned. "Why would that matter?" "Because it means this wasn't about Clark," Bruce whispered. "It's about us. The Council. The heroes. The global unity. They want to break our trust," Chala murmured. "And if we collapse, Earth collapses." Back inside the containment cell, Superman's mind was elsewhere. He stood in a black void, alone, until the architect appeared, not as a monster, but as a mirror. It took his form. Same face, same eyes, but its smile was endless. "You resisted long enough, Kal-El," it whispered. "But resistance is not the opposite of obedience. It is the beginning of conversion." "I'm not your weapon," Superman growled. "You already are," the architect said. "You were born in a test tube altered mid-voyage, and awakened only when Earth bloomed with enough minds to burn. You are not a hero. You are my door. Superman clenched his fists and screamed. The containment chamber outside shook. Tony immediately activated countermeasures. He's waking up. No, Strange whispered. He's fighting. At that exact moment, a red beam shot from Antarctica into the sky, piercing through clouds. Dozens of satellites blacked out. Shields scrambled. Wakandan satellites rerouted. But they were too late. The architect had sent a beacon, not to Earth, but beyond it. Whatever that was, Carol said, it wasn't an attack. It was a call. Then someone's coming, Bruce muttered. 3 hours later, the sky cracked. Not with lightning, with ships. Monolithic vessels, made of obsidian and bone, materialized from warp space. Each one as large as a city, shaped like claws gripping planets. They're called the Collectors of Collapse, Strange whispered. Multiversal gravekeepers. When the architect awakens, they come to ensure the destruction is recorded. We're out of time, Tony said grimly. We either fix Clark or we stop him for good. Tony, Bruce said. If you even think of killing him again. I won't need to, Tony said. I've already designed a containment protocol. If Clark loses control again, we freeze his molecules across dimensional time. A living stasis prison. And if he doesn't lose control? Captain Marvel asked. Then we let him prove it, Tony replied. In front of the world. Superman's eyes fluttered open. Tony stepped into the chamber. Clark, he said. You awake? Superman nodded weakly. Where are they? They're here. And they're watching. Above us. Then don't waste time, Superman said. Open the sky. Let's finish this. Battle for the sky. Superman versus the Collectors. The sky turned black at noon. Across every major city, New York, Wakanda, Tokyo, London, millions looked up to see colossal alien ships hovering silently, their hulls pulsing like slow heartbeats. The Collectors of Collapse had arrived. And they weren't hiding. Inside the Wakandan command tower, Iron Man hovered in front of a global broadcast drone. Superman stood beside him, cape fluttering. Sure about this? Tony asked. No, Clark replied. But I'd rather die under the sun than sleep in shadows again. A beat. Tony nodded. The global feed went live. People of Earth, Iron Man's voice echoed across every screen. We are under threat, not from Superman, but from something older than time. Today, we fight not as Avengers, not as nations, but as one planet. And today we give them hell. He ended the transmission with a single command. Launch global strike, now. All at once, Earth's defenses roared to life. Hundreds of Wakandan skyfighters flew in formation. Shield helicarriers unleashed energy cannons. Sokovian War drones spiraled upward from hidden bunkers. Even Atlantis, led by Namor himself, sent deep-sea missiles piercing into the sky. But the Collectors didn't flinch. They responded with gravity bombs, tearing open pockets of reality and sucking jets, birds, even clouds into nothingness. Too many targets. Falcon shouted through comms. Doctor Strange opened magical shields across continents, slowing the fall of debris. Hulk leapt from ship to ship, smashing alien pods midair. Captain Marvel flew into the heart of a collector vessel, unleashing photon blasts, only to be hurled out by a red energy pulse shaped like a hand. They're learning, she grunted. They're adapting, Bruce Banner said. And they're coming for him, Chala muttered. Everyone turned. Superman hovered above them, staring down the largest collector ship. It opened like a blooming flower. Inside stood a towering figure of light and bone, not the architect, but its herald. I am Vara's, it spoke into every mind. The waking hour is near. You may keep your planet, but the key, Superman, must come with us. No deal, Superman growled. You were made to serve, Vara's replied. I was made to choose, he countered. And then he charged. The sky split. Superman struck Vara's like a meteor, shattering the ship's interior. Energy burst in waves. Clouds evaporated. Storms brewed and vanished. The battle was cosmic. Fist to fist. Light to light. Vara's hurled time loops. Superman tore through them with heat vision that curved through reality. The world below watched. Children, soldiers, even villains. All eyes on the man in the sky. Not a god, not a savior, but a choice. Iron Man coordinated the defense. Open lane. Give Clark a shot, he barked. Strange redirected collapsing portals. Carol surged up, blasting shields open for Superman. Hulk grabbed onto a falling collector piece and launched it at another ship like a spear. And then, in the heart of the collector mothership, Superman grabbed Varas by the skull and whispered something. No one heard it, but everyone saw what happened next. Vara smiled and vanished, not destroyed, dismissed. And the ships? They stopped, frozen, waiting, until Superman roared, his voice echoing across space. Go. And they did. All at once, the ships vanished, folding into themselves and leaving Earth untouched. Back in Wakanda, the heroes gathered, bloodied, burned, but alive. Superman landed, and this time he knelt. Not in surrender, he said, but in honesty. I'm not just your ally. I'm your risk, and I won't hide it anymore. Silence. Then Iron Man stepped forward, removed his helmet, and held out his hand. Then let's take this risk together. The final choice, Superman's last secret. The battle was over. The skies were clear. No alien ships. No gravity rifts. No more countdowns. But the world wasn't calm, because the truth remained. Superman was still the key. Inside the restored Avengers council chamber, tension returned like a ghost. The heroes sat once again: Iron Man, Thor, Captain Marvel, Strange, Black Panther, Hulk. Superman stood in the center. Tony leaned forward. You stopped the collectors. But Varas didn't die. He agreed to leave. Why? Clark paused. His voice was soft. Because I gave him a trade. Everyone sat up. You what? Carol snapped. I offered him something else, Superman said. A code I found in the Kryptonian vault. One that could rewrite the Architect's anchor. Dr. Strange narrowed his eyes. That code wasn't meant for you. It was meant to destroy you if you ever activated. I know, Clark nodded. But I rewrote it. I encoded myself differently. I offered choice into the system. You're saying you hacked yourself? Bruce said. I evolved past my origin, Superman said. I'm no longer the Architect's key. I'm my own. But if you're no longer the key, Tony asked, then what's stopping the Architect from finding another? That's the thing, Clark replied. He can't. I convinced Varas that Earth is chaotic, divided, and uncontrollable. Not even the Architect can risk anchoring here. Not when the people here think for themselves. Silence. You tricked a cosmic god, Thor said, half laughing. Impressive. I just told the truth, Superman answered. Later that night, alone on the helicarrier rooftop, Iron Man found Superman watching the stars. You could have told us all this from the beginning, Tony said. I was scared, Clark admitted. Not of the Architect, but of losing your trust. You nearly did, Tony replied. Superman looked down. Would you have chosen differently if I had confessed earlier? Tony didn't answer immediately. Then, no. I would have still fought you. Why? Because I don't trust bombs, Clark. Even when they smile. Clark chuckled. Fair. But you earned back, Tony said, offering a hand. Don't lose it again. Superman took it. 1 week later. A global press conference. Superman, surrounded by Avengers. He stepped to the mic. My name is Kal-El. I was built for war. Designed to be a weapon. But Earth made me human. It taught me family, choice, fear, love. It taught me that the past does not define who we are, our actions do. I'm not the key to destruction anymore. I'm the proof that even weapons can choose peace. The world watched and believed. Epilogue. Deep in the void between galaxies, a remnant spark of the Architect floated in darkness. It blinked once and whispered. Earth was a failed anchor. But there are others. Somewhere, the next war began. But for now, Earth had peace. Because one man, designed for chaos, chose to stand for something greater. And the Council? still divided in philosophy, but united in purpose. Because when the sky falls again, they'll rise. Together. The end.